What's up, everybody out there in the YouTube trucking community? Sean Cahalan, Christian Brother Trucker, coming at you again with another video talking about some more random thoughts. And this time I'm going to be talking about companies that do some pretty stupid stuff. Stupid stuff? What could I be talking about? Well, I'm talking about tires today. More specifically, retreads. Retreads. Let me ask you a question. All you drivers out there, how many of you know that when a trucker says the word retread, other truckers cringe? That's right, because we all know that retreads are at a high risk for coming apart and blowing all over the highway. Yes, they are. Everybody knows about retreads. Stay away from retreads. Don't use retreads. Spend a little bit of extra money for quality tires, put them on your truck, and run them out. And when they do blow out, they usually don't come apart the same way that a retread does. Because, because of the tread design, the way that those things are designed, the tread comes off and they go flying all over the road. Everybody knows that. It's common knowledge, right? So, just that fact alone, we could say that, yeah, it's pretty dumb that these companies run retreads. But what could be dumber than that? What could possibly be dumber than that? Well, let's talk about flatbeds. And some of you flatbed drivers probably know, without me even telling you, flatbeds, spread axle. Oh, that raises the stakes, doesn't it, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, it does. Well, why? What could possibly make retreads on a spread axle worse? Well, I'm going to tell you. Retreads on a spread axle are the most dangerous thing that you can do. And I'm going to tell you why. Shut off my headset here. So, on a spread axle, for you ladies and gentlemen that don't know, a spread axle, what there is it's not a regular tandem set. The wheels and the axles are not set right next to each other. So on a normal tandem axle, you can turn the truck at a 90-degree angle and you can spin that trailer around. No problem. With a spread axle, what they do is they spread the axles out, and there's a 10-foot space in between center axle to center axle on the front and the back, right? So there's a 10-foot spread. So basically what happens when you turn a spread axle, it drags. And, because it doesn't pivot, what it does is it actually drags the front axle across the ground. Now, this is so bad that when you're driving a spread axle fully loaded, you can look back in your mirror when you're turning, and you can literally see the edges of the tire folding underneath and scrubbing underneath and ripping up the asphalt. I have literally ripped up brand new asphalt. Oh yes, I have. I have dug trenches in asphalt with spread axle trailers. So, spread axle trailers are bad. They're just, there are ways that you can minimize the damage that they do to parking lots, dirt lots, gravel roads, and all of that. You can install a dump axle, and what that does is that deflates the airbags on the front axle and takes a little bit of the weight off, transfers a little bit more of the weight to the back of the trailer, and it basically makes it to where when it scrubs, it doesn't scrub as hard. It doesn't mean that you can jackknife the thing and turn it at a 90-degree angle. It's still going to pivot and it's still going to catch. But it does minimize the damage that it does to the tires on the back. The worst thing that you can possibly do as a company, Melton Truck Lines, yes, I'm calling you out by name, is put retreads on a spread axle flatbed. And yeah, that's what they put on their spread axle flatbeds. Well, you say, well, it really shouldn't be all that bad, right? Well, yes, it is. And let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you a story. So, my wife decided to come out with me. I just started up with Melton, and I'd been on there for about 60 or 90 days or something like that, and she wanted to come out with me for about 3 weeks. And so she gets on the truck. I get her all set up, and we get everything loaded onto the truck, and I'm just super excited. And I go and I grab my trailer, and I get the load, and we're heading out of Tulsa. It's almost a brand new trailer with brand new retreads on it. Brand spanking new. Did my walk around, checked all the tires. All the tires looked good. I mean, yeah. And I'm driving down the road, and I get just out, I get just west of Tulsa, and driving down the road, and I've got this car right next to me, and I'm just driving along, and all of a sudden I hear this boom, and I look over, and the poor lady that's next to me driving down the road must have had a heart attack, man, because she was swerving all over the place, and actually I think she was on the passenger side, but anyway, I could see in my mirror that she was swerving and kind of freaking out, and I think she was on the left side, and the tire blew out on my driver's side. I don't remember. But anyway, passenger side, driver's side. Anyway, the main point is the tire blew out. A brand new retread tire. Well, I guess you can't call it a brand new. That's kind of like an oxymoron, isn't it? It's not a brand new tire. It's a casing that's probably been retreaded. You don't know how many miles are on that thing. Probably 400,000, 500,000 miles on a casing. Yeah, no wonder they go bad, right? Anyway. So, I pull off on the side of the road. I check it out. Yeah, it did. It tore off it blew out, tore off the retread. I had to pull the rest of the retread off. I ended up damaging the mud flap back there. And when these retreads come off, they don't just come off clean. I mean, they make a mess out of stuff. They can tear out airlines. They can tear off boxes if you have a box in between your spread axle. It's gnarly. I've had other retreads with that company come around and take off the turn signal marker light right off the trailer. Just ripped it all off. So needless to say, not a smart thing to do, right? So you'd think that it would stop there, right? I mean, that's just that's it. That could be just all the bad right there, right? It couldn't possibly get any worse. Well, from a safety standpoint, a major company that has 1,200 trucks and maybe, 2,000 trailers, and they're putting all retreads on these trailers all the time. Y'all, I don't even know. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 8 tires on every trailer. And if they have 2,000, that's 16,000 retreads running down the road, blowing out all the time. Now, if you have a 5% tire loss, 10%, that's probably 4, 6, 8, 16,000. That's about 160 tires. So if you have, 10% of your tires that blow out a month, that's a lot of tires. Anyway, I'm not going to sit there and do the math with you, but it's kind of fun to think about, right? So, generally speaking, it's dangerous. And one of the most dangerous things is those recaps can come off and they can end up going into somebody's windshield. Other people run over your gators. The gator, the piece of rubber that comes flying off your truck, and other cars hit them. And even me, as a truck driver, I have hit them on the road before and had them rip out my airlines. And I didn't even see the truck that threw the chunk of rubber on the road. They're dangerous. They shouldn't be allowed to be put on trucks, period. I don't agree with them. I'm highly opposed to them. I think that you should just spend the extra money and get a good quality brand new tire. But hey, companies want to save money. I can't fault them for wanting to save money. I can fault them, however, for putting retreads on a spread axle flatbed. That should be an absolute illegal thing to do. Should not be allowed. I'm telling you, when you turn a flatbed with a retread tire and you can see that retread folding underneath and getting underneath and curling up underneath as you turn, I don't care what kind of super high powered epoxy or rubber cement or super glue that you put on that thing, that retread is not going to stay on that trailer. It just will not happen. It's physics, folks. The worst thing that you can do to a retread is drag it across the highway, drag it across the roadway, drag it sideways in any way. because your retreads are designed to stay in a straight line. And, you know, that's why I said if you put them on a regular tandem set, it's not quite as bad, because, yeah, they do scrub when you turn a regular tandem set, but it's not going to basically peel that retread off of the truck. It's just dumb. And it was one of the dumbest things that I have ever seen a company do in my life. I was flabbergasted. I was like, that's just insane. You know, I've driven for other flatbed companies before, and they ran, they would buy virgin steer tires. Yeah, they would spend the extra money, and they would put virgin steer tires on the trailer. And we had a dump axle, or we had an air dump switch in our truck, that if we knew that we had to maneuver around a sharp corner, we could flip that switch and deflate the airbags. And also for when we were parking and having to back up and maneuver and everything else like that, we can dump the air out. But I guess that's a, you know, small, medium fleet versus a medium to mega fleet. But so, yeah, that was some of the bad experiences that I've had with those retreads. But to make matters worse, folks, this is where it gets better. The tire size, the particular tire brand, and whatever, I can't remember the brand name on it or anything else like that. Like, you know, they would have been a great, decent tire if they weren't trying to run them on a flatbed spread. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but this brand, this tire, y'all, you could not find this particular tire with this particular tread at any tire shop anywhere. That's right. Couldn't find them at a Love's. You couldn't find them at Speedco. You couldn't find them at Boss shops. You couldn't find them at TA's or Petros. Nobody carries this tire. Really? Really? Yes, really. I couldn't even, I'm not even joking around. I can't make this stuff up. But nobody carried this tire. And so basically you'd go get the tire fixed, and they would pull out a brand new tire and stick it right next to that tall ass retread that we were running, because it was a specific steer tire type design. So, you know, it had the skinny ribs that went all the way around it, but it was tall. And so when you put a brand new, even a virgin tire next to it, it was about a good 1/4 of an inch shorter than the tire you were putting it right next to, right? This tire in particular, okay, this tire that I blew out, I took it to a Love's, and no, I didn't take it to a Love's. I had a road service call come out and put a brand new tire right up next to it. And by the time I got my wife back to the terminal 3 weeks later, that tire was completely scrubbed bald in 3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. I'm not super adept at business practices, but I know stupid when I see stupid. And I know that whatever money you thought you were saving by buying these tires and putting them on your truck because you got such a great deal on them, tell me, please, how you think that you save money by putting a brand new tire next to a recap of a different size and then having it be scrubbed bald. And then when I bring it back into the terminal, now you got to put another retread because it matches and you're the only one that carries that tire. So you put another tire on there. So now you're 2 tires down. How did you save money? Really? I don't think so. But I could be wrong, but I don't see how you save money by doing that. Okay. Here's a couple of thoughts, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Okay, I'm opposed to retreads, but if you're going to choose a retread tire, for the love of all that is holy, why would you not pick something that you can find at any of these shops, these tire shops out there? How does it make sense that you carry a taller tire than what you can find anywhere in the country? That makes absolutely 0 sense. Okay, so you'd think that possibly all of the drama would end there, right? And all of my irritation and just being flabbergasted at the stupidity of this company would stop there, right? Oh, no, this involves much more. This involves Loves, okay? Loves and Speedco. Speedco used to be a really good company. And then they got bought out. I didn't even know they got bought out. So I went to a Speedco and I'm like, yeah, I've had good experiences here before. And so I pull in there. I had another tire flat that I had to get fixed because these things blow out all the time. I've never had more blowouts than I've had at Melton with these tires. It's insane. So needless to say, I had a lot of blowouts while I was working there. And so I go in on one of my blowout occasions, and I go in there and, well, first of all, I had another blowout and I had another road service guy come and fix it. So when he's there, he has 2 tires. He brought 2 tires with him. And he pointed out to me, he said, this tire is a different size. And he goes, even though the casing size is the same size and the tread depth is the same, he put that tire up next to that tire, and you could see, like I said, a good 1/4 inch of height difference. And he goes, if I put this tire on here, it's just going to scrub that other one bald. I said, yes, it is. It's going to scrub that one bald in about 3 weeks. Now, not only does it scrub that tire bald, but if you have a taller tire next to a brand new tire, it's going to scrub the skinnier one, right? And it's going to put more pressure on the taller one, so that taller one's going to heat up more, and it has a higher potential for blowing out. So we called up the company. They got it approved to go ahead and replace both tires, and they would get a casing fee or something like that for the trade-in on the other tire. Great. All right. Sent me down the road. I had 2 new tires on. Didn't have to deal with any more problems with that. So, a couple trailer swaps later, I run into another bad tire, right? So I take it in and I go to Loves and I explain to Loves, and I called up my breakdown department first at Melton, and I let them know, and I said, hey, I have a blowout. I said, they put another tire on here and this tire is shorter, and I said, if we don't replace both these tires, I said, you're going to be replacing another tire here very shortly. And so I got it pre-approved, and I told Loves when I got there, I said, if this tire is a different size when you match it up next to there, because I know you don't carry these tires, that you are going to need to replace both tires. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get this other one fixed later on down the road, and I'm going to lose another 5 hours. Explained it all to them very clearly, and they only did the 1 tire. And I said, how can you possibly misunderstand what I'm saying? And they were like, well, we do everything off of Shop Connect, and Shop Connect's a third party. And so, if Shop Connect notes say that we can only do this, then this is what we follow. And I said, hold on a second. I said, I told you when I got here that I wanted both tires replaced. And I told you that my maintenance road breakdown department okayed it and approved it for you to replace both tires. And yet you didn't listen to me, and you didn't call my company, and you didn't do what I asked you to do. Nope. So I called up my company again. I chewed them out, and I said, you will take this truck back in there and you will replace that other tire. I said, I am not going to risk having a blowout because you are putting 2 tires together that don't match. I said, number 1, it's a safety thing. And I said, number 2, it's just pure ignorant, and I said, look, how long have you, and I called this guy out personally. I said, how long have you been changing tires? And he's like, I've been a tire tech for 20 years. And I said, so then I said, look at these tires. And he looked at them and he could see the height difference. And I said, I don't care what the tread depth says. I don't care what that tire casing size says. I said, this is a retread, and there is glue and a retread that changes the dimensions of this tire. I said, it's not even close to the same tire. You can see with the plain eye that it's not the same size around. And he's like, yeah, but this is what we do, and then we follow Shop Connect, and Shop Connect tells us what to do. And I said, I don't care. Replace the tire, and then call my company and get it approved. So he did. Okay, great. So, fast forward a couple months later, I have the same problem again. Pretty much the same scenario. I called breakdown. I said, I'm going to have to get a tire replaced. This is going to be an issue because I know they don't carry this size tire. I said, I'm going to have both tires approved so that we are not putting a different size tire on here. Okay, good. When you get there, let them know that that's what you'd like them to do. Okay. I get there. I talk to the guy that's doing the write-up on the truck, and I said, I need you to replace both tires. If you don't have this tire size and you don't have this retread design, I need you to pair up both tires so that they are the same size tire around. Okay. So y'all, we all know that Loves doesn't do anything fast, right? So I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And I think I had my son with me. And so we're doing other stuff, and we're walking around the truck stop, and we're goofing around and stuff. And I get back, and they didn't replace both tires. Y'all, I went off. I had veins popping out in my forehead. I was pissed. Now, it takes a lot for me to get pissed off, but this really pissed me off. And I had the same discussion with the guy. And I said, how long have you been changing tires? I've been changing tires for 10, 15 years, Again, you've been changing tires for 10, 15, 18 years. Dude, you're a tire technician. This is what you do every single day. I said, what happens when you put a taller tire next to a skinnier, shorter tire? It's going to scrub, isn't it? It's going to wear that tire out, isn't it? Yup. I said, if you know that, why? Why did you put that tire on there when I asked you and your manager to replace both tires? Well, Shop Connect says this, and I said that, and they policies and procedures and blah, 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 blah. I said, I want to talk to your general manager. So I got an even higher up manager. And I asked that manager, I said, Mr. Manager, I said, what is it that you are involved in out here as a company? I said, it's customer service, right? And he said, yes. And I said, can you explain to me, please, sir, why you think that it's okay that you're not doing what I'm asking you to do when I have the approval and the okay from my company to go ahead and replace both these tires, even though Shop Connect is telling you that you have to follow these parameters? Now, it would seem to me that common sense says you can pick up the phone and you can call my road service breakdown department and get the approval. You are going to get paid for both tires. If this is some kind of weird business thing where you're afraid that you're not going to get compensation for the two tires because Shop Connect only says that they're going to pay for one, you've got to have a workaround for this. You have to. I mean, dude, with millions of trucks on the road, millions and millions of tires being sold, this is not anything new. It can't be anything new. I can't be the only guy out there saying don't replace just one tire on a tandem set, y'all. This cannot be an isolated incident. It's not even possible, right? Dude, I was livid. I'm like, you guys are, yeah. So I heard somebody say that you got to lower your expectations out here, and I'm seeing that's 100% true. But you would think that you lower your expectations on these tire repair shops, but then you also got to lower your expectations about these companies making good decisions that are good for the company. Now, as a company, by and large, if you look at the big picture of it, the company involves me as a driver. Yes, it does. I am the one that drives your equipment down the road. So every one of your decisions affects me. Every single time. And if you are buying a tire that nobody on the road carries, why? Why? Why would you do that to 1,000+ drivers on the road and think that that's okay? I absolutely cannot, for the life of me, come up with a good tangible reason of how or why some executive at a company goes, you know what? It's a really good deal on these tires. Yeah, we're saving so much money. Even with blowouts and replacing tires and having them scrub out and causing my drivers to have to take 5 hours off every time they blow out. It's so lucrative that my trucks can go ahead and sit in these tire repair shops, and I can just spend money on tires and have them scrub out in 2 weeks and then put another tire on there. I'm saving that much money. You cannot be saving that much money on these tires. I don't care if you're getting them wholesale from the slow boat from China. There's no way you're saving that much money in tires. There's no way. No way. I do know that they were talking about, getting away from those retreads. But evidently, they had containers full of them. I don't know, because I didn't see anything other than these stupid retreads being put on these spread axle trailers. One of the worst flatbed companies I've ever worked for. And, they made all of their decisions based on the fiscal bottom line, which is good for the company fiscally, financially, but it does absolutely nothing for the driver. It makes our lives more difficult. And, if you say that, oh, it's a trickle-down effect and you make more money because we're able to pay you more per mile. What? How is it that you think that it's justifiable that you pay me more per mile and it's okay that I actually run less miles because I'm shut down because I'm having to go to these tire shops and get tires fixed? And then I'm also a much higher danger to society running down the road with these grenades on my trailer that not only destroys the tire, but it also destroys the mud flap, and it also destroys the lights. And it also has the potential for pulling off airlines. And it also has the potential for these other trucks to come up behind me and run over my retread. And it might damage his truck. And it might take out Bob and Betty when they're running down the road and they hit that tire and end up freaking flipping over into the ditch and killing somebody. Why is that an acceptable financial thing? It's not. So there's all these reasons of why it's not a good idea. How can a company stand there and justify it and say, oh, that's such a good deal, it's worth all of this risk? It's not. And ultimately, that's why I didn't stay with that company for very long. 6 months, and I had about as much as I can handle with those guys. I guess if you're starting out flatbedding, they could be a good company, but, I talked with drivers there that Melton's the only place that they've ever worked, and they're like, this is the best company ever. I'm like, you need to broaden your horizons a little bit if you think Melton's an awesome company. If you think that any mega fleet's a good company, you need to broaden your horizons and have some more experiences outside of these mega fleets to know what's beneficial for us as a driver and for the company at large. If I can run for a smaller fleet of less than 100 trucks, and they buy brand new Bridgestone and Michelin steer tires to put on a trailer, a spread axle trailer, and give me a dump valve, and pay to have air scales on there so that I know how much weight's back there, and run shock cord and have specialty hooks, rope hooks, put on the trailers, and, oh yeah, there's more. And have 2 cargo boxes in between the spread axle on each side, and have a dunnage rack underneath that I can put my dunnage in and that I can put my V-boards in and my ladder and strap it all together on this rack. Yeah, it was awesome, let me tell you. And they were 48-foot trailers, not 53. So then I go to work for Melton, and Melton's running these 53-foot Great Danes and utility trailers with no rope hooks, with 3 tarp setups, no steel tarps, no side boxes on the trailers, no dunnage racks on the trailers, no nothing. Oh, but you're still required to carry dunnage, and you're still required to carry V-boards. Actually, if you needed V-boards, they expected you to make a special trip over to Home Depot to buy the lumber and make them yourselves. Get out of here. Really? Oh yes, I've got so much time on this load. I can go make a special trip to Home Depot and spend hours upon hours special making these 12 V boards that I need for this load of shingles or rolled roofing or whatever it is that I'm going to be hauling on this flatbed. Come on, really? I voiced this a couple times to the company. I said, you guys are doing this all wrong. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And I said, if you don't have a rack on your trailer and side boxes on your trailer, y'all, they actually put a smaller fuel tank on the tractor and put a big cargo, the side boxes that you normally see on the flatbeds. They put that on the side of the tractor behind the fuel tank. And you had a 75-gallon or 100-gallon, I think it was a 75-gallon fuel tank on one side and a 125-gallon fuel tank on the other. And their excuse was, oh, well, we need to think about weight. And I'm like, dude, if you're worried about weight, why are you pulling a 53-foot flatbed? Doesn't make any sense. But, I don't know. Like I said, it's weird. It really is, and I sit here and I look at practicality and I say, if you had the best equipment out there and things was a lot smoother for the drivers, we would be much more efficient. We would be able to get more done, cover more miles, run more loads, and make you more money. And ultimately tear up less equipment, especially tires, right? So tell me in the comments, what kind of really bad things have you seen your company do? What are some of the dumb things that your company does that just blow your mind? That, could be considered unsafe, maybe just weird business decisions that you see them make. That's one of the wildest ones I've ever seen. I think that buying trailer tires that are retreads, putting them on a spread axle flatbed and having them blow out all the time, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen these companies do some pretty stupid stuff, but that takes the cake for me. And then on top of that, nobody around the country carries these type of tires, so you can't replace just one tire. You would think that these guys would have the brains enough to at least carry a common size tire that everybody else around the country carries, so that when you need one tire, you put it up next to it and it matches and it's not going to scrub itself off. Yes, completely blows my mind. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that story. And if you like this video and want to see more videos, please like and subscribe and share. And that way we can get the word out there. I can start to get more followers and subscribers. And that way I can put together more videos. I enjoy making videos and telling you about funny stories and really weird stuff that happens in the trucking industry. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Have a good day.